Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. We're live and we're back with an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction ahead of Tottenham versus Manchester United. And look, this is not the same as the game tomorrow night, which is going to be very exciting, but it is a big thing to have back, and it's something on the channel that we really enjoy doing, and I know a lot of you like it as well, that instant reaction to Ole's press conference. And he has been talking, and there are some big things that he said, but none more bigger than Pogba and Rashford can start this game. He didn't say they would start this game. They can start this game. They're fit to start this game. How long they'll last is another matter, and this is very much about match fitness. What is your match fitness in these games, and what can you do in these games? So very pleased to have Ole back speaking to us, because it gives us more insight in what's going on in relation to transfers, contracts and injuries, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I've got to say, a massive amount of that interview was taken up with Marcus Rashford's achievements, amazing achievements off the pitch, what he's done for children in relation to getting them food, literally feeding them over the summer months has been massively important. And I think a lot of the journalists who spoke to Ole wanted to talk about that. And I totally understand that, and I think we all understand that. But I've got to also say that, look, did every journalist have to mention it? I think they wanted to, and nobody can knock them about that. But I think because of that, we didn't get a lot of conversation about what the actual game is. And I think that's a little bit of a shame. I would have liked United to have given Ole another 10 minutes, because those journalists and all of us want to pay tribute to what Marcus Rashford's done. And look, you cannot knock a journalist for asking that question, but every journalist virtually asked about Marcus Rashford, and that basically took up their question. We didn't get anything about Mourinho. We didn't get anything about Spurs. We didn't get anything about transfers. We didn't get anything about tactics or the importance of the game. We didn't get any of that. So that was a little bit disappointing, but you can understand it in the circumstances. There's a bigger picture here, and there is still a bigger picture. There are still people dying. There are still people in massive financial issues. So focusing on that and the Black Lives Matter, of course, needed to be addressed by a lot of people, but I don't think we got a long enough press conference, because we didn't get to talk about the game, and it is a big game tomorrow against Spurs. I mean, all we got from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer really was that we've prepared as well as we can for a big game, but there's more there. There's more we could have spoken about. We wanted a little bit more about how we're going to approach the game, the rivalry with Mourinho and etc. But I suppose at the end of the day, it adds to what is a big game tomorrow night. And it is a big game. Look, I'm sure many of you watched the watch along with me on That's Football last night. That Sheffield United goal, if that happened to United, I wouldn't even know what to be saying right now. I think it's a massive travesty, but it helped Manchester United in the long run, because Sheffield United dropped points and we hold on to fifth. But I think anybody who watched Sheffield United last night will know they cannot get top four. They've done brilliantly well to get where they are, but they're not a threat for top four. The race is on, and it really is about beating Spurs tomorrow night. And I think we've got a great chance of getting top four, and that's what United need to go and do. Who will be fit for tomorrow? And we will talk about the transfer news in a moment. Obviously, Timo Werner is now a Chelsea player. I want to talk a bit about Grealish and a couple of other things, but let's do the Ole press conference first. Phil Jones and Twansebi not available for tomorrow. Now, look, Phil Jones not available tomorrow is like, you know, it's obvious, isn't it? It's like getting wet in the shower. It's not a surprise. And would he have made the bench anyway? No. But Twansebi is now becoming a little bit of a concern. It's not a concern for now. It's not really even a conversation for now. But he was injured before the break. He's had 3 months off and he's injured again. This is a young player that we want and hope can be our Koulibaly, our quick player that plays next to Harry Maguire. But he can't do that if he's going to be injured all the time. And he is getting injured a lot. And if you talk about Phil Jones on one hand and say, no matter how good Phil Jones is, he's got no future at Manchester United. And then you talk about Axel Twansebi and say, well, he's got a future, he's got all the attributes, but he can't stop being injured. I've got to say I'm a little bit worried about that. I don't know what the injury is. A few people saying, what is it with Twansebi? I don't know what it is, but ultimately it is disappointing, because he is a player that when we talk about Maguire and Lindelof and we say long term, Maguire needs somebody quick next to him. Ultimately, the only option at the moment now is Eric Bailly, because two of our centre-backs are injured. You know, who's the backup if Lindelof or Maguire get injured? It's got to be Eric Bailly, who himself is, you know, we're a little bit short. We didn't think about this, but we might be a little bit short in the centre-back department for the last 9 games of the season, because if Jones is injured and Twansebi is injured, you've really only got 3. And it certainly means that I don't think we'll see a back five tomorrow because, all right, Shaw can play there, but you don't want to be playing three centre-backs. Also on Angel Gomez, interesting about Angel Gomez, clarifying what I know the situation to be with Angel Gomez. A few people are pretending to be in the knows. Oh, I've known Angel's signed a new contract weeks ago. Well, he hasn't signed a new contract, has he? He's not signed the new contract. What Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed is what we've been talking about on this channel, is that there is an indication that Angel Gomez will sign the contract, but it's still a possibility that he won't. And what Ollie said is, look, we want him to stay. He's part of the team. As far as he's aware, the offer's there, and we hope he's going to take it. But if he doesn't, we wish him all the best. So look, Manchester United, that's from the Manchester United manager. I expect Gomez to sign the contract, but if he doesn't, we wish him all the best. And that is a very strong stance from Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to basically say, that's your offer. You take it and you build a future at Manchester United, or you go and we wish you all the best. So all these people who've been saying for weeks, I know Gomez has signed the new contract. Well, he hasn't. He hasn't signed the new contract, and you're falling into the trap of in the nose again because he's not signed it. He probably will sign it, but he's not signed it yet. Chelsea get Werner. What is our excuse not to buy Sancho now, says Reddy HD. Well, I want to talk about that. Let's bring Werner in now because obviously it's been now announced officially that Werner has gone to Chelsea. I mean, look, again, not surprising to me. Walk into a shower, you get wet. I mean, we know Werner's going to Chelsea. This has just been about getting Werner over to England to do the medical so that Chelsea can officially announce it. The deal was basically done a week ago because his release clause ran out a week ago. So that was done pending the medical, which is now going to get done. £50 million, £49 million, Timo Werner to Chelsea. It sort of renews the argument that we were having a couple of weeks ago. So expect a little bit of PR spin over the weekend from United, maybe around Sancho or Van der Beek or Grealish, something like that. Welcome to FaZe and Carl, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Thank you for that. So look, I like Werner. I do like Werner. I think he's a fan. I just said this on Twitter, so I'll repeat it to you lot. Werner is a fantastic signing for Chelsea. I think he's going to be a very significant signing this summer. I think he can be as impactful for Chelsea as Sancho would be for us if we get Sancho. So Chelsea have made a very good signing there. We want to close the gap on Man City and Liverpool, and yet the team that's ahead of us, Chelsea, they're trying to close that gap and they're making decent signings. Ziyech and Werner, Bruno and Sancho, similar. They'll sign somebody else. So what are we doing? This is what I mean about Manchester United. We're meant to be taking advantage of a market, but we're also meant to be closing the gap. Chelsea are not even near the title, and they are buying to close the gap. And their manager is similar to Ole. He's new in the job. Some would say that Lampard's got a better philosophy than Ole. Some would say that Lampard's playing more youth than Ole. I think but I would say Ole's beaten Lampard 3 times. I think there are similarities between Chelsea and Manchester United. And maybe looking at what Liverpool and Man City are doing is not what we need to do. Maybe we need to look at what Chelsea are doing in the transfer market and also in the way they're trying to build themselves to being title winners again. Because we've got to go with them. We've got to surpass them. So United have got to get Sancho this summer. We know that. And I think that Chelsea have always done this. It's very, very good signing. And I think that to me is important. I mean, Leon Football says Ollie's talked crap about taking advantage of the market. Is Grealish taking advantage? You know what? I mean, I might talk about it a little bit later tonight, but I think that the way Grealish played last night was very impressive for anybody who watched that game. I was very impressed with Jack Grealish and how he played against Sheffield United last night. Not because I thought he played well. I thought he did play well, but I thought the way he performed positionally, I saw a lot of Jack Grealish in his own penalty box. So that to me is very, very important. That if we do go for Grealish, he's not just an attacking midfielder. He's a jack of all midfield trades. He can play in a number of positions. So yeah, very interested to see what happens with that. Apparently Fabrizio Romano is saying that Jadon Sancho would accept an offer to Manchester United if a bid is made. A bid is yet to be made, therefore talks between the clubs have not begun. The real problem is Borussia Dortmund's asking price. I mean, this is just regurgitated news, and we love Fabrizio Romano, but this is what he said 3 months ago on the United stand, that Sancho would accept a Manchester United bid if an offer is made. A bid is yet to be made, therefore talks between the clubs have not begun. I mean, this is just not development of news, it's just regurgitation of the same news. I don't see why people are getting very excited about that, because it isn't anything news. So yeah, Fabrizio saying no official bid by Man United, and so talks with Dortmund have not started. Needs time. Sancho would accept Manchester United. It's not a problem. The real problem is the fee. But when talks with Dortmund start, then we'll see. And those talks won't start yet because you need to progress towards the back end of the season and see what's going to happen with regards to that. If we can make a bid, the window hasn't opened. Exactly. We can't make a bid, SN. You're absolutely right. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching live and subscribe if you are new. Still lots to get through. So yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference, his first one in 3 months. The massive game against Spurs tomorrow. I mean, I feel a duty to... I mean, I've done the preview and I hope if you've not watched the preview, give it a watch. It's only 20 minutes long. It's on the channel. But I feel that there was a real lack of discussion about the game. And I understand that. 3 months out, lockdown, the Black Lives Matter movement, which is very important. And obviously, United will be bending the knee like every other club did yesterday. Rashford's achievements. Ollie's going to get asked all about that. I just felt that we should have had a little bit of a longer press conference to actually... Then, when we focus on all the important stuff, we then talk about the big game tomorrow, which is against Spurs. So there was nothing from that. But what did we learn from last night? So I think we learned from last night that it's Manchester United, Chelsea and Leicester for 3rd and 4th. I still think Leicester are in this race for 3rd and 4th. I mean, they're definitely in the race for 3rd because they're there. But I still think they're in the race for 5th. I still think that they can be caught. And I think it's Chelsea, Man United and Leicester for 3rd and 4th. Maybe Wolves. Maybe Wolves. That's what I'd say. Maybe Wolves, but probably not. But not Spurs unless they beat us tomorrow and go on a massive run. Certainly not Arsenal. Certainly not Sheffield United. So it's there for United. And I think what we learnt last night is that Arsenal are still Arsenal and Sheffield United just don't have the depth or quality to fight for 4th place. So it's there tomorrow night. We've got to get a result tomorrow night. Some would say a draw is still a result. I mean, it is better than losing. You don't want to lose to Spurs. But I think if we win tomorrow, the momentum around this football club, Marcus Rashford's going to be... you've got to start Rashford tomorrow. Not enough attention is based on mood of a player. And at the moment, Marcus Rashford will feel that he is invincible. Because what he has done off the pitch is amazing. He will feel invincible. He will feel... like he's got a point to prove because of the months that he's missed. He'll be hungry. I think Marcus Rashford's massively important tomorrow. So he is important. Why can't we make a bid? Werner is already done, says Frederick Larson. Yeah, Werner is already done, yeah. United didn't bid for Werner. United didn't go in for Werner. That's a conversation that, we can have. We didn't go for Werner. Should we have gone for Werner? Yes, we should. The price was right. The player was right. We should have gone for Werner. It does, for me, show a lack of ambition. But we'll have to wait and see what we're going to do as opposed to getting Werner. So, Werner was a very, very, very unique situation where he would be bought last week because of his contract release clause. United can't go and sign Sancho today. It just can't be done. The transfer window is not open and it would be silly to do that. So, yes, I think United should have gone for Werner. I've said that on record. I think that, if you're taking advantage of a market and you do need a forward, go and get one of the best forwards in the world for half the price of what he should be. We should have done that. But we didn't. We didn't go for Werner. So we've got to move on. I think he's a good signing for Chelsea. Mark, you have to beat Spurs after Sideshow Bob was found to be an agent for Chelsea, says Zayn Miasi. Yeah, going back to the game, I'm very excited about it. We will be doing the watch along tomorrow, so make sure you tune in for that. But yeah, I think if we can get the win, we'll get top 4. I think it's that significant a result. I think we'll beat Sheffield United next week, and then obviously got an FA Cup game after that. But Spurs tomorrow. Let's not be conservative, like I've said in the preview. I don't want to give away what I've said in the preview, but we can't be conservative. We've got to go on the front foot. Fortune favours the brave, as I said. What time are you going to start tomorrow, says Scotty. Is it an 8:15 kickoff? So we'll be live around the time of team news, so probably around 7:15. Yeah, looking forward to that. Fan cams will be there as well. We better not play a back 5, Bruno. That's all I'm going to say. We better not play a back 5. And... can I just, everybody who's watching, can you just confirm that the camera I'm using is okay? Because it's a new camera. Some people said it was very good yesterday, but on the live stream, I don't know whether it makes any difference. So if you could let me know in the live comments, that would be appreciated. And we're back, baby, says Lucas. Yes, we are. David Luis says Cheddar Bob, and then just a laugh, smiling face. And how can United see Werner to Chelsea and not eager to solve our striker issues in the squad? And the camera's fine, which is good. What date does the transfer window actually open, says Luke Walsh? I think it opens on January the 1st. And it's funny, we talk about being a super club and having all that money to take the advantage of this market. All cattle, no hat. Dead wood, says Abby Sharma. Interesting. Interesting. And Luis was a shambles last night. Well, I think Phil Jones in a wig is elite compared to David Luiz. So there we go. So it doesn't open on January. It opens at the start of August. I'm getting a little bit of a problem with that. I'm trying to read things. So yeah, look, I've got to be honest, not massives of information from Ollie. Nothing about transfers. Not enough about Pogba. And not enough about the game. But in the circumstances, it's the first press conference back, and all the journalists wanted to talk about the great achievements of Marcus Rashford and some of the wider context in relation to what's going on in the world at the moment. So you can't argue with that, and we didn't get a lot on the game, which is this is what I mean. United are like me, just lazy, says Reddy HD. But this is what I mean, though. I think that this is why this game against Spurs is you've got to take advantage of it, but it's badly timed because of everything that's going on, because it's the first game back after 3 months. Nobody really knows how to hype a game up. Like Man City, Arsenal, people looked forward to it, but Spurs against United is actually a massive game contextually in relation to both clubs' futures, the rivalry between the managers. If United lose, it's going to be very hard to get Champions League football, and then that has connotations because of Jadon Sancho. If United win, I think we're very much favourites to get top 4. So it's a massive football game. It's not just a massive occasion, it's a massive football game. I think Man City and Arsenal was a massive occasion because it was the first big game back. This is actually a big game. There are really deep consequences of this game, but it's just not getting the build-up because wider issues are more important away from football. So football's back, but I remember I said this a few weeks ago, football will come back and I love it and it's great to have it back, and I'm so excited, and for me personally, it's a massive game tomorrow and that's what I want to talk about. But it's not the same as what it was before lockdown. The world's different. This is unprecedented. It's not normal football. It's football, but it's not as we know it. So, look, I'm a traditionalist. I love football. And I just don't feel we're getting the build-up for this game that we should do. But then, hopefully you are off the United stand and the preview. And now, this is a massive game. I'm very excited about it. I'm not excited because football's back. I am, but I'm not. I'm excited because this is a big, big game with a lot of consequences built around it. I'm not just excited because it's like, oh yay, football's back, Friday night, Man United against Spurs, woo, groovy. No, that's a little bit. I'm now thirsty for the game. I'm now thirsty for the rivalry. I'm now thirsty to see Rashford and Pogba back playing football. I'm now thirsty to see what Bruno's going to do. I'm now thirsty to see what Mourinho's going to do because they need to win. It's the actual football game and the Manchester United versus Spurs game that has got my attention now. And I don't think that the mainstream media, Manchester United even today, grasped that. And maybe they did grasp it, but they didn't want to focus on that because, as I've said before, you can't have Sky Sports grudge match Mourinho against Ollie. You can't do that because it's not the world we live in at the moment, but it definitely is for the fans. It's 5 a.m. in Chicago, listening to you guys on my way to work. Thanks for doing what you do, Mark, says Craig Kalami. One thing I did want to bring up as well, and we're deep into the show here. One thing I did want to bring up, where did you sit last night when that goal for Sheffield United wasn't given? At half-time, when they came out, I was absolutely convinced Aston Villa were going to let Sheffield United score a goal, and I was ready to clap. And I actually thought, you know what, I don't blame the goalkeeper for not putting his hand up and saying it was a goal, because heat of the moment, you're going to play the moment. But when they go in at half-time, I think there was a real opportunity in this world that we live in at the moment. And I'm not going to link fair play to what Rashford's done, or Black Lives Matter, or people clapping the NHS, or any of these other things that are going on at the moment that are really important. But in that world that we've been living in for the last 3 months, where people are trying to make a difference, would it not have been so nice if Aston Villa had just let Sheffield United have the goal and then played the game? I would have applauded that. And look, I'm not saying they should have done it. And I think all you're going to get here is opinion. You're not going to get a right answer. Because people will say, well, Villa could get relegated. But you're telling me that Villa 1-0 down could not have gone and scored a goal and got the point they ended up with anyway. I just think it's such a shame that in 2020, a goal that was a goal doesn't get given when we surround ourselves with technology and a goal can still be chalked off wrongly. And I just think Villa could have let them have that goal and it would have took all the argument away, all the debate away, and the right result would have happened. It would have been 1-0 at half time, and then you've got a second half to try and get it back. I just wish Villa had done it, because I just think the world we're trying to build now, this world of, you know, people getting on and, you know, rivals not enemies. It's a shame. That's just my opinion. I get it. A lot of people will say, well, I don't think Villa should have done that. It's not their fault. But it wasn't their fault, but they should have been 1-0 down. They could have righted a wrong that wasn't their fault. They chose not to. And somebody said to me, apparently Leeds did it for Villa last season. So I don't know. And Happy Dogs just said that Leeds let them do it. I don't know the circumstances of that. But there's a part of me thinking now, if Villa stay up by a point, it's, you know, I don't think it's going to work the other way. Sheffield United are not going to miss out on top four by 2 points, because they got a point last night, didn't they? They might have got another 2, but I don't know. Let's get Chiesa and Ocampos for Sancho, as Dortmund want too much. In midfield, Tonali and Partey would allow Bruno and Pogba to play. Tonali is the next big thing. Keep up the good work, Mark, says Ibrahim. I tell you what, Tonali is the next big thing on my FIFA career mode. He's absolutely brilliant. You can watch me at 2:30 on the United stand. I'm not on the United stand. On Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. My score prediction is a draw, King's Ed. I just think it will be a draw. I think when you look at the Sheffield United Villa game yesterday, there was a point where both teams looked tired and settled for a point. Look, Man City were always going to beat Arsenal, so it's a bad example. Sean Turner says that Gary Neville said that 140 million Ed Woodward took out was for wages and overheads, not transfers. Can't see us spending big on Sancho or anyone in that case. Well, if that is the case, Sean, why did we not go for Timo Werner? I think United will sign Sancho, but if we don't sign Sancho, right, why would you not have got Timo Werner for a bargain 49 million? And people can say, well, no, Chelsea got him, we didn't get him. That is true, but we didn't even bid for him. So we didn't even go in for him. Mark, we lost because Martinelli didn't start, says Zane. You're a mid-table club. I've told Ollie, mid-table matters is the new show. Forget, you know, all guns blazing or whatever else. Mid-table matters is the show for him. That's what they need to start doing. Shout out, Mark. I'm in Jamaica and I'm listening. Go United, says Garvin. And VAR only in the UK. Why does this not happen in La Liga, Barcelona, Bundesliga in the France, says Brian Matunzi. Thanks for the contribution, mate. And I think it will be a draw tomorrow. That's a prediction. But obviously, with all my heart and hope and passion and desire, I want United to win. And I think we can win. Maybe I'm being a little bit conservative here, but I think that may be what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does. He's got to go on the front foot for me. And if he does that, then I think we can win the game. I am doing career mode today, Legacy TV, 2:30 on That's Football. And I'm worried about Pogba coming back. We can't afford lazy, lackluster performances anymore, says Tyrone Williams. I don't think that would be... what's the word? I don't think that would happen. And I don't think it would be allowed to happen because we have got other options. I mean, look, in the conversation of who the midfield's going to be tomorrow, there's 5 players that I would be happy to start. Only 3 of them can do. There's only one player that has to start for me, and that's Bruno. Pogba's probably second, and then you fighting for the third spot between Fred, McTominay and Matic. Peppermint tea. People still think Pogba is lazy, says Ashutosh. Yeah, I don't think he's lazy. I think he's inconsistent at times. Why no cutout fans behind the goal? I tell you what, I've got to say, those Man City TV screens behind the goal with a select few Man City, I found it annoying. I just found it really off-puttingly annoying. I just think it's a gimmick that we don't need. I'm not bothered about an empty stadium. I want fans in the stadium. If they're not going to be real fans in the stadium, I don't need a monitor behind it of people watching it from home who basically know they're on the telly. So basically what happens is every time the ball's in the box, even if it's for a bloody goal kick, they're like, oh, you know, just so they can see this. It becomes a gimmick. It becomes a gimmick. I've got nothing against fan opinion and fan channels, obviously, because I run one myself. But I think there needs to be a level of realism to it. Otherwise, you're just mocking what fans are. You can't have fans on a screen behind celebrating a goal kick. It's just, it makes us It makes us the thing we're fighting against not being fans. We're the lifeblood of football. We're the voice of football. And I think for a long time, the mainstream media has just seen us as a cash cow, and they know best. Putting these TV screens of people celebrating goal kicks just makes us the thing that they perceive us to be. Just a cash cow who don't really know what we're on about. Brian says, can you check on Zayn? He's in the live comments. He's fine. He's fine. He's blaming it on David Luiz. Although I must just say, in relation to Arsenal last night, the highlight of watching the game for me was that Arsenal fans in meltdown blaming David Luiz, and then the third goal, they've got 6 defenders around 2 attackers, and Man City still score. David Luiz wasn't even on the pitch. So their problems are big of this. The press conference has happened, Harry. I would say it was an average press conference if I was marking it out of 10. If I was marking it, I'd give it 10 out of 10 for the focus on Marcus Rashford's work and what's going on in the world in relation to that. But in relation to context about this massive game tomorrow night, there was very little in there. There wasn't time for anything to be in there because every journalist, quite rightly, wanted to talk about Rashford. We didn't get any question. We got no question. Jose Mourinho was not mentioned once. We got no question about what Spurs' threat is. We got no question about transfers. Nothing. So I don't think it was long enough. Regarding last night's goal, that's the first mistake goal line technology has made in 14 years, which isn't too bad going, says Sean Turner. It's terrible. No. Sean, I've got to say this. I saw this, I think Hawkeye or whatever they're called, they repeated that themselves. It's the first mistake we've made in how many years? There should not be that mistake should not happen. The whole point of goal line technology is that there should not be one mistake. There shouldn't be a mistake. The reality is that was absolutely, and I'm not blaming it totally on GDS, there's a whole cluster mess there. It never should have happened. There's no excuse of it's the first mistake in 9 years, these things are going to happen. Absolute tosh. GDS was not on. It was not tested before the game by the officials. The referee assumed that it hadn't crossed the line because he didn't get the vibration, but it hadn't been tested before the game. And VAR knew full well that it was over the line and they didn't even go in the referee's ear. There's a collective mess there that never should have happened. And it should, and like Sheffield United manager said, I waited 9 minutes for a goal to not be given to us against Spurs back in January because my player's big toe was offside and it took 9 minutes. They can't wait a few minutes to rectify a goal that everybody knew was a goal within 30 seconds. And he's absolutely spot on, the Sheffield United manager there. That was an absolute joke. There is no excuse. There is no apology. There is no it's the first mistake in years. That was an absolute mess. A disgraceful mess. That to me, honestly, I said it last night and I'll say it on here now. Next time United have a shot and it looks like it's over the line and GDS says it's not over the line, bollocks. I'm going to watch it on the telly and make my own mind up because I just don't trust VAR anyway. I don't like VAR and now I don't trust GDS. So, that's where they got it wrong yesterday. And as I said, there was an opportunity for them to get it right. Villa could have let a goal go in. That's on Villa. That's up to them. But why not say at half time it's 1-0? We've looked at it. It's a goal. I know minutes have passed. Or why not? There was an opportunity there and they messed it up. They could have righted that wrong. Okay. We've had a super chat coming in from We Need Haaland. Dortmund is destroying him. Too much egos in that team. They don't give him the good balls. Makes me sick to watch. Stian United. Okay. And it's not over the line. Yeah. Well, it was over the line. Man City couldn't even fill those screens with fans, says Chris. We should get rid of VAR. What do you think, says Lucas? Yeah, I would get rid of VAR. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest with you. And Michael Oliver is a crap ref, says Jonathan Gallagher. Well, it should have been tested before the game. It should have been tested before the game. If you go out with your mobile phone and you're going out for a night out, do you check what your battery is, or do you just go, I hope that it's got enough? Like, some people do. But if you're a professional and you need that to be working, you check what your battery is and you charge it before you go out. For them not to have checked GDS before the game at that level, it's ridiculous. It really is. Sancho update, says Neil, says, well, look, I think Fabrizio Romano has replied to a tweet on Twitter about Sancho. But, Fabrizio's a top guy. We've had him on the channel. He's very good at his transfers. He's not added anything new. He's just replied to a tweet. He's basically said that if United bid for Jadon Sancho, he would be interested in coming to Manchester United, Champions League football permitting. I still think that's important. If he'll go to Chelsea over us if we don't get it. But United have not bid yet, and that is the issue. But we haven't bid yet because an idiot bids now. If I've got £100 million in my skyrocket pocket and I offer Dortmund £100 million now and they go, yes, let's get the deal done, I'm an idiot, because in 2 months' time, I might get him for 75 million because the market is uncertain at the moment. So United should not be negotiating with Dortmund yet. And also, you could flip it the other way and say, well, United are not very good at negotiating anyway. We want to sit round for 6 weeks in August and sort that deal out. So we're not quick at doing deals anyway. So that's the other side of it, isn't it? Do you think we should attack Spurs from the start? Says Uti. Check out my preview. Everything is in there about what I think we should do with that. And do you like Willian? I don't, says Marcus Wallace. I agree. It's clear from any perspective Oliver should have trusted his instinct, says Lul. Well, I don't get final thing on this. If you're the referee and you've got an instinct that a goal has gone in, and to be honest with you, just look at the Villa goalkeeper. He was guilty as sin. Absolutely. You could tell he was guilty. And that's as I said last night, that's Michael Oliver's problem, isn't it? He either is an idiot or he can't read people because, I used the analogy last night. If Michael Oliver's in a bar and a girl is making it, or a boy is making it, whatever, equality, is making it obvious that they want to dance with him and kiss him or whatever, what have they got to do for Michael Oliver to realise that they fancy him? They've got to strip naked and start gyrating up against him? I don't know. Because if he looks at the Villa goalkeeper yesterday, it's very obvious something's gone off. Now, it might be that it didn't go over the line, but that thing in your ear and VAR is where you go, I couldn't see it. It's not vibrated. Is there anything in it? Oh, that took me 3 seconds to ask. Yes, Michael. I don't know what's wrong with GDS, but that's over the line. Right. Okay. I need to go and check this. Goal given. He stubbornly, and I've seen Michael Oliver. I don't rate Michael Oliver as a referee. I know some of you do. I don't rate Michael Oliver as a referee. And this goes back to Man United against Man City when he sent Chris Smalling off, quite rightly probably, but Joe Hart ran up to him after another incident and basically went head to head with him. He put his head on a referee and he didn't send him off. So I don't trust Michael Oliver. I think he is a stubborn referee who goes with his own feelings and not the evidence going around him. All he needed to do was not be stubborn about a technology he hadn't tested before the game and use VAR. That's all he needed to do. It would have took 30 seconds and he refused to do it. So everyone's saying they feel sorry for Michael Oliver. He's the man in the middle. He's got to be perceptive about what's going on the pitch, and he has at least got to go, something's not right here. VAR, that's in his ear. It's not like he's got to ring up a call centre and go on hold for 10 minutes listening to crap music. It's in his ear. Was it over the line? Is there any debate it was over the line? Yes, Michael. Right, get it on the screen. I'm going to look at it. For people to say that it wasn't his fault, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anyway, back to United. Massive game tomorrow. Very much excited and looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. We're going to be back live at 8 o'clock tonight. Looking forward to that. I might have a different sort of show tonight. I'm sort of thinking about the night before the game, getting people on. Maybe get Ricky on and maybe get Flex on and just have a bit of a build up. But let me know what you think about that. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. I'm doing FIFA at 2:30 on That's Football if you want to join me there. And we'll be back at 8 o'clock tonight. Thanks everyone for watching. Paul Wilson saying it actually wasn't over the line. Paul, Specsavers is open. Get yourself down there. Speak to you all in a bit.